So now let me ask this question about, so when you say the atomic, we test it out this way, we test it out that way to see the nuclear this, to see the atomic this, and all, and we're like, nobody's done it. Is this where the world is aligned, where you ship it out or somebody flies out with it to Russia to see if the Russian engineers know, or we fly them in? Do we test it out with other allies to say, hey, China come in, hey, Russia come in, because this is the one area everybody around the world is unified on?
Absolutely not. And we should. This is the problem. This is why this is the other part of that equation.
Know. So then if you say it's unidentified object, then we don't 100% know, because it may have come from Russia or China or anywhere else that maybe at some point their engineers figured something out that we just don't know about.
That's a great point. So let's go down that rabbit hole for a minute, because that's wonderful logic, and you're absolutely correct to presume that. So let's take that argument for a second and deconstruct just a little bit. Let's look at where some of this material, its origins came from. So it came right at the end of 1940s. Okay, this is material that to this day we cannot replicate. So that would assume that some country out there has, since in the late 1940s, early 1950s, which, by the way, where was China? It was in the middle of a famine. Where was Russia? Well, they were barely trying to develop an atomic bomb. We had barely broken the speed of sound, Mach 1, and we hadn't been to space yet, right? So that means some country had the technology to build something in total secret and then deploy that capability over controlled U.S. airspace and over censored military installations, and has been doing so for at least 75 years. Now, if that is the case, then this would be the greatest intelligence failure this country has ever experienced, eclipsing that of even 9/11. And I don't say that lightly, because 9/11 just happened, right? I mean, this is, we're celebrating,
23 years.
We're not celebrating anything. We're unfortunately memorializing 23 years. You know, it was a horrible event. But this would be even worse than that, because that means despite the billions of dollars that we invest each year into our intelligence community and our national security apparatus and all 17 intelligence organizations out there, someone has managed to fly under the radar, no pun intended, with this technology, create it and deploy it without zero accountability, meaning no one knows, zero sponsorship. No one knows who's behind this technology. And so that means our country is totally failed. We've been leapfrogged technologically by an adversary, and oh, by the way, have been for the last 75 years. So that's not a really good scenario to be in, right? And so we invest a lot of money to always keep a competitive edge on our adversaries. We're looking very, very carefully at their new emerging technologies, whether it's Russian hypersonics or, other technologies they're working on. We know what they have.
Where do we find this piece?
I guess I can talk about it. So the material that I have personally held in my hand was acquired by some folks in the OSAP program, allegedly from a crash that occurred at Roswell.
At Roswell.
Yep.
For the last 4 years, every time we do podcasts, I have to ask Rob or somebody, hey, can you pull up this news? Can you pull up that? Which way do these guys lean? Can you go back to the timeline of, eventually after asking so many questions, I said, why don't we design the website that we want aggregated? We don't write the articles. We feed all of it in using AI. So 8 months ago, I hired 15 machine learning engineers. They put together our news site called vtnews.ai. What this allows you to do when you go to it, if you go to that story right there that says Trump proposes overtime pay, click on it. It'll tell you how many sources are reporting on this from the left. If you go to the right, Rob, it says left sources, click on it. Those are all the left sources. If I want to go to right sources, those are the two. If I want to go to center, I go there. Now, if I want to go all the way to the top and I want to find out a lopsided story, a story that only one side is reporting on, either the left or the right. So if you notice the first one, will say Zelensky announces release of 49 Ukrainians from Russia. Notice more people on the left are reporting on that than the right. If I go to the middle one, same thing. If I go to the right one, same thing. You can see what stories are lopsided. And if I pick one of the stories, pick the first story, click on a Trump one, proposes overtime tax cuts. To the right on the AI, I can ask any question I want, but click on the first question that has it. It says, what is the political context and potential motivation behind the Trump's new tax cut proposal? Click on the question mark. It explains exactly what the motives are. So for you to use, whether you're doing a podcast, you're in the middle of a podcast, or you just want to know it for yourself, you're busy like myself. And last but not least, This is all AI doing this, some machine learning engineers. Go all the way to the top. I can go to timelines, and see how far back a story goes. Pick the Israel-Palestinian conflict. If I want to go to that and go back and see why are those 2 days a big spike, I'll have Rob pull it over to go to those 2 days with a big spike, and I'll see exactly what happened on that day or the previous day, and many other features VTnews.ai has. So simply go to VTnews.ai. There's a freemium model, there's a premium, and then there's the insider. If you want to have unlimited access to the AI, click on the VTAI Insider. You can now become a member effectively today.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.